Welcome back, everybody, to the Hometown Hustle, Episode 8. Today, we sit down with Scott Davis of Property Management Group and co-founder of the Steam Distillery, downtown Grantspass.
That's right. Today, we got to taste some of their awesome gins and vodkas, and also have a great conversation with him, touching on some property management and some of the troubles that they've had starting the Steam Distillery. But it's a great conversation, so tune in. It's going to be a good one.
Welcome to the Hometown Hustle, a podcast showcasing small business owners and leaders who are making an impact here in the Rogue Valley. Come join us as we go one-on-one with some of the most inspiring people that call Southern Oregon their home. Now, here's your hosts, Daniel Buffano and Michael O'Coin.
Hi, Scott.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Sure.
Really excited to have you here. You have a really cool new business in town. The Steam Distillery. And so pretty pumped to have you guys here. Well, not you guys, you.
One of the three.
Yeah, one of the three for sure. Mike Blair's been a friend of mine for a long time, and I've known of Terry Lewis, but I've not actually met him.
Yeah, Terry Hopkins, actually.
Terry Hopkins, what am I thinking? Terry Lewis is another real estate broker,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Terry Hopkins, it's stupid. Okay,
Yeah.
Start it over, Michael.
Yeah. Poor Terry.
Yeah, it's okay, Terry.
He'll think it's fun.
We'll make it up to you.
Yeah. No, but we're pumped to have you here, and then you also own Property Management Group,
Yeah.
which is ties with our business, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But for those who may not know you and who you are, just give us a little brief backstory of yourself. And
okay, well, I was born and raised here. Went to Grantspass High School, graduating class of '94. Then left here to go up to Oregon State. Graduated there with a business degree. Then came back down here and started a whole bunch of different things. Started working a lot of different places. I've always pretty much had two jobs. I mean, I've always, even all the way through college, I had two jobs. When I was here, I had two jobs working at.
Seemed like you liked the pizza industry.
Yeah, you know what it was is when I got up to Oregon State. I'd already worked in the Child Development Center here at the high school, and I was like, I know kids really well because my brother was developmentally disabled, so I worked with handicapped kids my whole life, and so I was like, I can do the kid thing. So once I got up there, right by where I lived was a kindercare, so I just walked in there and just said, I'm looking for employment, and they're like, you're hired, because a lot of guys don't come in, and they wanted that kind of the diversity, I guess. So I started working there, and they made me the afternoon kindergarten teacher. So after I met with the actual kindergarten teacher.
No background check or anything.
Oh, yeah, I went through that. But
it was a different time.
Unfortunately passed. Yeah. And then I was like, I don't know Corvallis at all. My parents met there, but I hadn't spent much time up there. So I'm like, I can figure out how to do that by delivering pizzas. And I always felt like no matter what I did, I want to give myself the raises, and I figured if I deliver pizzas, tips, if I'm a better pizza delivery guy, I can make more money than the other pizza delivery guys. Yeah. So I'm like, I just started delivering pizzas. So, and I did, I got really good at it and did pretty well, made good money at it. And then I was going to school for business. So I kind of hopped out into when management positions opened up, I applied for them and got them because I wanted that on my resume as I was getting ready to graduate.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then with the property management side of things, I was like, I'm paying my biggest bill is rent. And so, like, how do I get out of that? Mm-hmm. I actually looked at buying manufactured homes because I couldn't afford, I'm 21. I can't afford a mortgage. I might have been able to, but I just didn't know. Mm-hmm. But I was looking at that. That didn't really pan out. But at the other end of my building was the on-site property manager. And I just went to her and said, how do I do what you're doing? And she said, well, I'm actually a professional basketball player in Europe, and my dad owns these buildings. So if you're interested in trying to be an on-site manager, I'll have him call you.
You're hired.
Yeah. So yeah, because
no background check.
Yeah, she went back again. Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah. No. So I started doing that, and I did that for 4 years, and I paid no rent for 4 years. So no student loans. So
there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, I really cut down on my costs, and then I really liked it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and then I started in the real estate because I was doing that, and so that guy that owned those buildings said, "Go work with my buddy," and so I went and started working at a company called Investment Realty, and started selling commercial buildings. And I really liked that too, but the ups and downs, whereas, I'd sell $1 million building and have a bunch of cash, but then it'd be 4 months again until I got paid again. So, and then I had a kid. And so I was like, I need something more consistent. And then my ex-wife got accepted in the MAT program to be a teacher down here. So we moved back down and it worked out great. So we wanted to raise our kids around the family anyway.
Well, let me back you up. Where did you get your, why property management and real estate? Where did that come from?
I always figured, money is made in the sales. You can be in control of that. If I work a regular 9 to 5, I get my raises at COLA or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, sales are where I'm in control of what I make. And I was like, well, I can sell newspapers and I have to sell 1 million of them to make money, or big things. If I can sell a bunch of big things, I make bigger money. So I figured that out fairly early on.
So you figured that out on your own, or is that parents an influence, or?
No, I wouldn't say parents. I mean, parents, lots of influence, but no, I just was like, my parents are we're 9 to 5ers. They're that's just their middle management. All of them were. Yeah. So, and that was great. But for me, I was like, I'm money motivated. And so I was like, I think this is how I can control it. And
always looking for the angle. Yeah. Kind of. How can I cut my rent? Okay, I'll take the job that pays my rent.
Yeah, and exactly. Because I wanted nice cars, and I wanted freedom and the ability to do what I wanted. And so I saw that I didn't want to sell small things. I wanted to sell a bunch of big things where the margins are big. And so I could, in school, help with that knowledge and finance and that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's kind of where I started.
Yeah, I'm always curious how people get into that kind of stuff, because my dad always seems like he was buying houses, just his own residence, but he'd always trade up every 3 or 4 years. And then my father-in-law still has 40 something of his own rentals in Merced that he and my wife and all of her siblings and stuff kind of grew up learning how to manage and do all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of how I got involved in it, or how I became interested in it. So I was just kind of curious.
Yeah. I mean, because it is interesting, and it's not always easy, but it can be fun. A lot of people tell me I don't want to do what you do. I'm glad you do it. And I'm glad you don't want to do it, because it gives me a job. I get those comments all the time that thank goodness you're here. I have one owner in town that says, if you stop doing property management, I'm selling all my units, which I thought was pretty nice compliment. But
well, when he gets ready to sell,
I was waiting for that.
I know, right? Yeah, it's 18 units that I manage for them.
That's awesome.
So they're my biggest client. So I'm like, I'm glad you want me to stay doing it, because I do well from them.
So Scott, when you moved back to Grants Pass, is that when you started PMG, or?
No, I started that in 2008. So I moved back to Grants Pass in 2002, and was still doing real estate a little bit, and got a job being a mortgage broker, just because it was the same realm. But I was not enjoying that. Just wasn't my thing. Like the gentleman you guys just had on, he's like, I love this, and the research of it. I'm like, good.
Dan. Mortgage nerd for sure.
Yeah, I was like, good on him. We need that. Because I just was like, I just don't know all the lists of all the different things. So I didn't do that for real long. But I was working for Barney LaMontagne, who just recently passed away at All Real Estate Loans down on Main Street there. And I worked there long enough to do a real estate deal with him and my parents, and ended up getting 7 rental units. So I started managing those. So that's where that part started.
Cool.
And then I got this job offer to work at a company it's now called Tenant Data, where I do background checks, and they hired me on sales, and it was again a base plus commission. So I was like, that's what I want. I want to be able to make my own raises. And so I started working for them, and they were doing mostly mortgage credit reports at the time.
That's where we met.
That's right. And then they wanted to grow their tenant screening side, and they had known that I had done a little mortgage, so there's the credit reports there, and then also the property stuff. So got hired on there, and I took off. I was one of 4 salespeople. I outdid all of them, and they laid all those people off. Made me a sales manager. I hired on a bunch of other salespeople. And I took the companies from 85% mortgage to and 50% tenant screening to 50-50. And so I just got all these tenant screening companies all over the country.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty good. But I still have most of the screening, the property management companies here in town. I actually still don't even really talk about it because it's kind of a part-time thing, but I still work for Tenant Data now. I just don't do a whole lot for them. So, but they still pay me, so I'll cash the check. But, yeah. So I was doing that, and then at the time, the owner of the company, not of Tenant Data, but before he sold it off to Tenant Data, him and I partnered up to do property management because he wanted to get into that a little bit, and I was like, I've been wanting to. So we started it, and then within about a year and a half, he moved to Portland, and I bought him out and grew it from there. So
it's been yours ever since.
Yeah. So the first full year, I had 5 units at the end of that first full year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have hardly any.
Yeah.
So just a few close friends that kind of trusted me with it, and I just started getting to know it real well, and then I took off, and I'm
Where you at now?
Over 170 now.
Wow.
So just on my own, it's just me.
Yeah,
I probably need some help, but
It's a lot of units
with having Steam now too, because by 2:30 in the afternoon, I'm there. So a lot of the time. So yeah, it's a lot of units, but I mean it's manageable because I use Rent Tech, which is Rent Tech Direct that's here in town. Nathan Miller. I use his software and I manage his rentals for him too. But but he's really great and that program's really great. So that's taken a lot off my hands.
Yeah, he's great. We're on the chamber board together.
Yeah, and he does the downtown, because he was part of the sign committee for we had to go in front of that, some of the downtown association stuff. I can't remember what it's exactly called, but he was on that. You know what that's called? It's
the sign. I know because when we had the G Street building, we had to go. We didn't go in front of it. I got their information and stuff.
It's a historical committee.
It's like part of the historical. Yeah.
Right. Because our building is not in the historic district, but we're in the realm of cuff. Yeah, so we had to get the sign part. We didn't have to go through the historical society part of it, but we had to go through the sign side of it, and he was on it. And I was kind of like, hey, like
help me out,
he's and he was like, I can't talk to you about it. So, but yeah, it was great. So
they're not too harsh on signs actually. I was really impressed by our leniency with our G Street building.
Yeah, no, they loved it. As soon as they saw it, they said, this is one of the best signs we've seen come across our desk. They were like, we all approve it right now. We have no problems with it. But we had Cruz Welding, I always forget his name, Ed. We had this guy who designed it, but then Ed he cut all the metal out and built this frame, and it's beautiful. I mean, you can see it now. It is. Him and his team did a great job on doing that together. So yeah, off of our specs, they loved it, and so it was pretty easy to do. But so at the property management side, I do a lot of I do everything, but I've got a team of people that help me get things done with the cleaning and painting and gutters and repairs and all that stuff. But
got the little black book.
Yeah, my phone. But yeah. So
yeah, Paul Holbert just sold grantspass property management.
Yes, and Pam sold 221 because I know they did it together. I mean, because again, Paul was one of my clients. I do the background checks for them, so I could never get Pam, but I had his. Yeah. So they just sold it.
That's who I bought my house from, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of his flips, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so PMG's doing its thing, and then you and Terry Hopkins, you and Terry Hopkins get together and tell us the story about how Steam got started.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny. So Terry was the president of Thomason Foods, Tap Rock, and Elmer's, and 44 restaurants, and he was doing that. Decided he wanted to back off from that, and he started working for ORLA, Oregon Restaurant Leisure Association, which he does still work for, and so he'd been doing that for a little while, and him and I were just drinking a couple beers, and he's like, I'm thinking about maybe getting back into it a little bit. And I had there's a restaurant downtown that I managed that building, and he's like, is that one opening up? I think it was, and I was like, I've already got somebody for it. But I said, if you decide you want to get back into it, I will hitch my ride to your Getty Along, man. I know it'll be successful, so let me know if you're interested. And he said, I know this guy named Michael. He does small craft distilling stuff. And I said, let's go meet him. That was almost 3 years ago to the date. It was like February 3 years ago, sometime in that month. So we went and met him, and our rapport was just right away great. He's a great guy.
Mike's awesome.
And he's a genius. I mean, so part of what we do at Steam is if people come in and they ooh and ah over, because we put in these windows, these windows are about the size of your window there. They're 4x4. And they were, the two of them, they're $4,300 for just those, because they're these it has to be this totally protected fire barrier thing, which was our biggest issue. It did cost us probably 6 months dealing with the fire, because it
suppression and everything.
Yeah, well, and that's all there. Climate City put all like the sprinkler systems in, but it has to be 1 hour burn wall all the way up to the roof, all the way around. And we didn't know really what we're doing. So we had problems with the city on it a little bit, but some of it was our ignorance, and it just was a mess. So, but either way, people come up to that window and they're like, "Oh, what's in there?" We're like, "Come on in." But if Michael's there, we're like, "Michael, take him in," because he's a scientist with it all. He's amazing, and what he makes is amazing too. Everybody loves it. We never had anybody go, "Whoa, this is not something I like." And maybe everybody's nice, but the reality is that we'll go in and we'll take them back there, and it's just a small area, but we'll show them how it works. And I can give them kind of the basics of how it is. Just I go back there and listen to Michael. I'm like, okay, we're trying to repeat that later.
Absorb it in. Just take couple keywords.
Because it's amazing what he does. So we've got what we make everything out of is called the Istill. We had it imported from Denmark because it's the newest technology. It basically records everything, so we can keep everything. We don't have to just taste everything as we go, even though we do. We don't have to. We just basically get the right readings, find what we like, and it's just in the system, and then we just replicate it. So it's consistent all the time, which is really nice. So we just ran the what was it? Oh, our agave spirits. We can't call it tequila because we're making it here, not in Mexico. So we just ran our agave, and it's cool. So out of our mini still, we have the big one and we have the mini one, and he just has this tube that comes out and it just drips out of that, and he fills it up. And he records like the degrees on it, and it's the heads and the tails and everything in the middle. And so he says, "Scott, come back here and start tasting these. Tell them where you like them and where you don't." And I'm like, "This one's good. Nope, not this one." So I'm like, I would say stop here. And then Terry too. And then we had a couple other people just come flavor these. Tell us what you think. And then we kind of came up with a consistency that worked better. Like I was like at the end there, it's just I don't like it. And he's like, "That's where all the oils. That's where the flavors are at." So we're actually going to go farther than way you like it, because we need that to be in to bring out the flavors in it. I'm like, okay, I believe you. So that's how it works. I mean, we just flavor it, and then with the recorded temperatures he's got on there is where we put it into the system or keep it in the system, and then we run it, and that's how well we've got. So we don't have then he just made a small batch, and we sold that all off within a day because it only makes a couple bottles. But we eventually will have our agave spirits for sale too. But
well, you have my number now when those tastings.
I know, right?
When everybody's not sober enough to quite process.
Michael's a big agave fan.
He's an everything fan.
I'm an everything fan.
Oh, you're Michael. Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's good. It was everything that Michael makes is, I've just not had anything that I don't like. And I'm a beer drinker. All three of us are really beer drinkers, but we will have, I drink tequila, or I drink tequila. I had tequila last night, but I have mostly vodka. I usually just drink Grey Goose because I want good alcohol. Yeah. I'll drink ours over that, and it's not just because we make it or sell it. But we even did some taste testings with people. We did blind taste testing. We just had a little party and had people come over, and we had the different vodkas, and ours won on both of them that we did on both.
Wow.
Taste. Yeah. Because our vodkas, it's not filtered through charcoal, which is what most vodkas are, and so it actually retains some flavor. It's actually got it's supposed to be a neutral grain spirit that really doesn't have much flavor in it, and it still is pretty mild, but it actually has a little flavor to it that people are like, wow, this is really good. Almost always, probably about half the time we give out free tastings in these little glasses, and when people taste it, they're like, wow, this is really good. And I'm like, you can buy a bottle if you want. And they're like, I'll take one. So I sold 10 bottles this weekend, just partially off of these tastings. So,
Michael, what's this guy waiting for here?
No, we can.
He's writing us right in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
try
go
it. Since you're on it, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm curious. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I'm curious where the Steam concept, because obviously kind of steampunk, right, type thing.
Right. I'll get back to it. You know what, I think we don't really know, to be honest. I mean, so we've tried to try and remember where the Steam thing first came out. I'm pretty sure it was an idea that Terry had. And he was just kind of thinking of, what would be cool and new. And but that's all I can remember, because it just, it gets so many conversations. We spent
over alcohol, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So some things get lost. So it's we're not sure exactly where it came from, but it was once it was like, this is the idea. We're like, yes, we love that.
It's steamrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it
looks great.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes, the distillery and the steam, just like everything kind of pulls together.
Right.
It's a really cool concept.
And we just had lots of ideas, like how can we make our sign like have steam coming out of it all the time, and that we couldn't get that to work. But we, with the smoked, we had our smoked old fashioned, which is the biggest sell. It's double what anything else we sell. Yeah. My best night is I've sold 40 of them in one night. We were working. That was that's a lot for one night.
Yeah.
But people love it, and they love the experience of it. And it's funny because almost like clockwork, if somebody orders one, the rest of the restaurant orders one. They all want that at their table, and they're always videoing and picturing it, and then they put it up on Instagram and Facebook, and we're like, you're selling it for us. It's great. Yeah. So people come in, I saw this one on Facebook. It's a steamy, smoky something. I'm like, we know which one that is. They
may not even like it, but they just want to order it just so they can have the experience.
I definitely. So most people, I've not had anybody tell me they didn't like it, but you just, it's made of bourbon. Not everybody likes bourbon. Yeah. So I'm not a
bourbon
guy either, but I like it. So
it's probably half the reason why people order fajitas too, because it comes out on that sizzling on the plate. It's the experience.
One of the things we figured out early on, or knew, or whatever, was that people don't want things as much as they used to. They want experiences. So we want them to come in and just, we tell people, or people tell us all the time, almost every night, that they just love the atmosphere in there, the ambiance, grantspass needed something like this. We hear it all 100%. The time. Yeah. It feels like a Portland bar. We hear that all the time too.
Same with House of Gloria, them just opening. It was something different that the city just needed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We've had several people be like, now we have a reason to go downtown, and it's not just us. It's a lot of of what's been happening.
You kind of go with the whole concept of same thing with like Airbnbs. It's like, is this Instagrammable? Right. And that experience, is it, do people want to take pictures and share it? And that's what you guys got, It's like,
we got lots of that. It's really cool. And we're not even done yet. We've still got more work to do. We just started going, and we did not plan for it to be this successful, really, this quick. Our budget was like, okay, if we did this amount this day, and we're like, we're way over that, double it most days. So.
Didn't we just hear the same story with Manny?
Yeah, with Manny.
His was amazing. I loved how he felt so like everybody was so welcoming him, because for me, I'm just here, so I don't have that. But for him, just coming here and welcoming, I thought that was a really cool story.
Yeah, just coming from Miami, he's probably just another piece of straw in the haystack, you know. So it's just
grantspass is different like that. I always tell my kids, if you do good, you'll get good, and especially in a small town, because people remember. I literally. A girl I went to, actually, you guys might know her, a girl I went to high school with, lady that I went to high school with, she didn't even remember me. And she's like, I know you. I'm like, you and I were in driver's ed together. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we were 16, so you may not remember, but she's an appraiser now. So anyway, that's just the small town stuff. She was nice in high school, and she just came into the distillery. So it was just kind of one of those, if you do lots of positive in a small town like this, you're gonna meet and work with, and people are gonna want to. And
you've been here forever, but now you're a face. Instead of just somebody behind a keyboard or whatnot. You're actually, tin bar and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, I've never been a bartender, never been a server before. I am now, so it's fun too. I didn't, I'm back there shaking things up and making the drinks, and people are liking them. It's really fun. So one of our bartenders, she's like, it's not. She was just telling me this yesterday, the day before. Serving serving liquors are pretty similar to being a chef. Like you go with what, you learn how things mix, and how things, what limes and lemons will do, and actually how it will accentuate. So if somebody says, I like this kind of thing, she was like, well, so okay, that what they're really trying to say is this. And so you make them this drink, you can just make it out of almost nothing, or like not a recipe, and give it to them. They'll be like, that's exactly what I was trying to get to. And she's like, yeah, because it's like an art. It's like doing different seasonings, and I'm like, I've never even thought of it that way, so I want to try and learn more from what she's saying, because I'm just like, what's on the menu here? Like, okay, I got to make this part this, and
Yeah.
So I'm just still learning. Like Terry, he's great. He's like, let's do this time. Let's experiment with this. Well, like for our Valentine's drinks, he's like, let's try this with this. And we had the love potion that we put dry ice in, and it was
That's cool.
smoking or steaming all over the side, and we had to have a separate drink because we didn't want people to burn their mouths on it. But we would serve it, we would serve it with this the steam coming over the side of it from the dry ice, and it was again that presentation. We sold a lot of those basically on the presentation. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really pumped I know it's good.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's got some depth to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that back end. People talk about that back end. We've even had a couple people go, that's like back end's almost kind of tequila-ish with that
it is.
bite to the end. Michael doesn't like that, but I go, I get what you're saying. It doesn't taste like tequila, but it's got that bite to it, but it's not intense. It's nice.
It's got flavor.
Yeah, it does. And so it's just made out of white long grain white rice, and that's what we found to be the best. We literally this morning I helped Michael haul 40 bags of it. I don't know how many bags it was. He went and got these bags of the long grain white rice and wind loaded into the distiller this morning. So, I mean, we just load it up, and that's what we do. So, and then he does the magic. I'll do some of the labor stuff. That's the thing. Terry's the restaurant genius.
Yeah.
Michael's the genius at doing all the distillation, and I'm just kind of like the grunt. I'm like, I'm a goer. I'll just do whatever you need to be done. I'll get done.
Where do I fit in here?
Yeah, it is. It's always been that way. So like I was telling you beforehand, these bottles start off like they're totally clear. When I'm done with them, they're totally black. I paint every single one of them by hand.
Really?
So,
Really?
Every single one of them. I primer them down, and then I paint them. I label them. I fill them, and then I top them and use a little hair dryer thing that goes on the top and seals it down. So I'm in charge of doing all that, and I like doing it. So
it's an important job.
Yeah, my stepdad made me a little spinning wheel, like a little paint booth. And
Yeah.
so it's got a little looks like a little record player in the middle, and I spin it and spray and I make sure it's all even. And if it's not even, I break out the sandpaper and start again. And so we're getting bottles that are already black, but
not only handcrafted on the inside, but handcrafted on the outside.
Yeah, when I tell people that, they start looking at the bottle. I'm like, don't look too close. Like, you're going to see some runs sometimes and things like that. But
there's going to be some collector's items in there, dude.
Well, that's one of the things. We do have people, we'll sign them for people. We have the gray pen. And if people are like, will you sign it for us? We're like, okay, maybe someday if we.
That one with the label upside down, that's the one I want.
That's right. I hope there's none of those, but. Yeah, so it is one of those things that we have to do everything ourselves right now. We joke that someday we'll look back and laugh that we used to do every single one of these by hand. So, but for now, that's what we do. So.
I don't know, man. That adds to the small town feel and organicness of it.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Everything else, man.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's the part of it that we want. Like that's why at least one of us is there all the time. Well, eventually we're trying to get it out around the state, which is one of our goals. We won't be there for every minute, but pretty much now we have our staff, but there's always an owner there to answer questions and welcome people in, and so you get that feel of that we're taking this serious. We're very involved. So
well, I think it adds to the customer service aspect of it, and a smiley face and somebody that wants to be there, just not getting a paycheck.
Right.
We talk about customer service and service all the time, and it's important.
Yeah, and then that's exactly right. I mean, we're not taking any money. Every dollar goes back in. We want our staff to get it. So even when we're waiting tables, our servers get all the money. We get zero. We do it all for them. We any profit we get, we just goes right back in. So because we already need more space. We're not going to leave there. That's going to be our forever. But we're going to need more. We got 6,500 bottles coming from China right now, and we have nowhere to put them. So we've talked to actually the folks down at the Daily Courier have a big open space, and Chris Bristol's a friend of mine, and we're like, can we maybe store them there? And he's like, yeah, probably. And let's see. So we went down and looked, and there's plenty of room in there. So, or we're going to get some storage unit or something. Because
the bottom floor of this building is completely empty.
Oh, see? Okay. Well, there you go. But they'll be empty bottles though. So
that's bring them all over here. Huh? Michael and I'll watch them for you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I figured as a place to store it and do all that, the Remax agents use it for their signs, but it's
cool.
There's way more than enough room for
Yeah.
any of them. I mean, it's
70% underutilized.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that might be something because we're going to need more room. So I just got so much. Because we're decided to go with so many different things because we've got our bourbon, our single malt, and our rye whiskey that we're going to be making, the agave spirits, the rum, our regular vodka, and then all the flavored vodkas that we will have it at some point too. So and actually, the white vodka basically we're ready to go. We've already been approved to go to liquor stores with. Wow. So we could take it down there and sell it, but we're afraid it's a problem, a great problem to have is that so many restaurateurs in town have said, as soon as it's ready, we'll take it. And we're like, I've got about 80 bottles right now. And I'm like, I can get, that'll probably be enough, but I do not want to get to the point where they're asking for more and we don't have it yet. Cause it does, cause we only have so much space and we're making that bourbon right now that, we're still at least, we just started with the long grain rice today, so we'll start the mash today. So we're still another at least week and a half away from having another run of vodka because we're working on the bourbon and it's got to go through the fermentation and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to deliver it and then them going back in for more and it not be there. So
it's the same problem that Weekend's having right now.
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants their beer, but they're like, we sell all of our beer that we make.
Yeah.
Just here.
Yeah. And so we sell the bottles out of our location, but that's the only place right now because that's more of a trickle. That's usually, I think we average around two a day. Like this weekend, I
think it'd be cool to have you in the into the restaurants and
Oh yeah, they literally. Well, the first thing was Flying Lark was going to grab a bunch of them. We don't know how many, but they wanted as many as we could give them. But I'm sure that's just kind of what they were saying. But we didn't know if it was going to be 10 bottles or 100 bottles.
Well, you got a little more time to make bottles now.
We were holding off on that. With the way that went down. I know.
Don't get started on that.
I know. It's frustrating. So now that that's not a thing, but most of the restaurant owners in town either know me or Terry or Mike just from being in town forever and just we're just kind of out. So we know that we're going to have a rush of it. And I'm just, Terry and I actually talked about this today. I'm like, we're starting another round. We've got about 80 bottles. What do you think we should do? I think we should hold off a little bit just because I do not want to have it not there when they go back for it. Mm-hmm. So he agreed. So we're going to wait till we do this next batch. And then probably within 2 weeks, we probably will have it there.
You guys have to have your inventory too.
Right. Yes, exactly. And that's I was counting bottles today that we've got. And I think we've got about 20 of our clear. And I can tell you why there's two different kind. But because it's the same vodka in both. But it's we have to make sure we have that, and then we have these bottles, but I don't want to open them back up because I've got them all sealed and done. But I do have to have enough in there. Yeah. So we have some in a barrel, but that's starting to get low also.
Nice paint job, Scott.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's way cool.
So to talk about the flavored vodka. We've had such a run on our habanero. Everybody loves the habanero, and the liquor store can't get habanero at all. Like they don't have any on their shelves. So Gretchen and Pat, the owners of the one on 8th Street, they've come in and that's where we buy all of our stuff at too, all of our regular supplies. And they said if you can get us any habanero, we'll sell all of it because not only people are asking for yours specifically, but we don't have any on our shelves, and people ask for habanero all the time. So we're working on the labeling with the TTB, which the feds basically. Mm-hmm. They just kicked it back to us a couple days ago. We didn't do it the way they wanted it. We did it the way other ones have, but we don't know. So actually our designer, the guy that did all of our logo, did all of this stuff. It's Michael from Max Graphics.
Oh yeah.
You guys know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been amazing to us. He's like, how about this? And we're like, oh my gosh, yes. So he came in last night for a drink, and he's got a drink on our menu, Max Paloma. And he brought us another one, and with it saying they wanted to say flavored vodka because they don't want us to trick anybody or something. We're like, it says habanero on it, but either way, so we got to get that finalized because we wanted to change it again today, but he thinks they won't allow us. So anyway, so once we can get that approved, then we'll send to OLCC, then we'll make the labels, and then we'll have the habanero on the shelves too. So
That'd be awesome.
That's cool.
yeah. So once that gets done, we think about 6 weeks out. So we kept thinking mid-March, but here we are at the end of February. We're still not done with because it just keeps it's gotten kicked back twice. But,
Ugh.
yeah. So
Leave it up to the feds.
Yeah.
yeah.
So tell us about the bottles. Why are they different?
So it's interesting because it's based on the tax structure. So so the state of Oregon taxes it at about 50%, but they don't at the same time. We learned this fortunately later.
I think I talked about this with Mike a little bit. But
Yeah,
yeah.
So
Okay.
for that bottle we sell for $29.95, the black bottle, and the tax that is taxed is $15.11 per bottle. That's what the tax is, which doesn't make us really profitable for all the other expenses we have to go along with it. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just sell. We want to long term get our bottles out, and once we get bigger runs, the economies of scale and all of that will be fine. And so the tax on that is the $15.11. If we sell our bottles to ourselves inside the distillery, the minimum they will allow it to be is $8.95 that we sell it to ourselves. And so the tax is like $4.28 or something like that. So we're like, perfect. We'll save us a ton of money by just doing a totally different bottle. It's totally different, even though it's not really. And that is the one that we will sell to ourselves and not have to pay very much money in tax. So that's what we did. We did two totally different. It's all that way at the OSCC, and that part's really great. And OSCC has actually been really great to work with. Some people complain about the government stuff. They've been actually really good. But what ended up happening is they made some changes, and they have the tax, but then they have all these kickback things, and it's not really a kickback, but these percentages off if you're smaller, basically trying to help small craft distilleries make a profit, which is great because if we start selling a ton of them, most of those taxes go away, or those breaks go away. But it ended up being that it went from $15.11 down to like $4 and something cents in tax per bottle. So we're like, oh, now we're profitable. Now it's for sure we're making $10 more than we thought on each bottle. Now it makes sense to go. We were going to wait a year before sending these to the liquor store, and now we're ready to go now, and we're 2 months and 4 days in. Not that I'm counting. So we didn't necessarily have to, but I mean, it still makes sense because then the tax on this is only, I think the way their taxing structure is, the way you send your payments to the state is very archaic still. I literally write a check, and it's not per week, it's per period that starts on Saturdays. So January 1st, I think, was a Saturday. So I sold one bottle that day. So I wrote a check for 56 cents because that was that first week, that first period. But it's a period, but it's per week. So there's 6 periods in January. So I had to write 6 checks in January for taxes for the OLCC. And they're up there like, we don't want to do this either, but this is the way the rules are. So I know it's they're like, we're changing it eventually. They said something like, we're going to be online to be able to make payments online really soon, 2024. We're like, yeah, soon. Great. And that's the way.
How long have we had the internet?
Yeah, exactly. So the employees are working at it, and they, like I said, they've been great to work with. Anytime I have a question, they get right back to me and that kind of stuff. So it's been good. But yeah, so now we can basically sell everything directly to, including the habanero. So
Nice.
that's what we're doing.
So what's in you mentioned like rums and bourbons. What's in the hopper right now? What's kind of waiting to get bottled?
That is the bourbon. So
Okay.
yeah, so because we have a cask club, which is basically all sold out. We actually,
Of course, we missed another club.
yeah. I'm starting a waiting
We're
list.
friends with all these people. And they're not on the club, Michael.
Yeah, when we did our first 24,
Why are we inviting them on the podcast?
should have done it a while ago.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, we did our first 24, sold it out. Was almost a year before we would open, because we thought we were going to open earlier because with all the problems with construction and stuff, we thought we were going to be open last June or July, and we didn't open until December. But so then we filled those all out, and then we decided, well, we can maybe do another 24, and so we're like, okay, we're going to build another 24. And Dale Woodruff's a friend of mine, and he's like, I want to build that for you. I'm like, yes, sir. If you want it, because
Oh yeah.
he's building another cabinet for us that's going to have moving gears that move it's plugged in with lights, and the gears are going to run all the time. And it'll be right there, because it'll only be about this, just enough for the barrel size. So it won't be, because we don't have much room for it, but it'll only come out, I don't know, about 18 inches or maybe 2 feet. So, so basically he's like, I'll build it for you. So he's in the middle of building it. So as soon as we started talking to other people, they're like, want one. And so within a few days, all those were gone. So, but
okay, I was hoping he was going to say there's like 2 spots left, but there's no spots.
There's not, but I did start, because they're not all, we haven't collected any money from anybody. So if some people start, going out,
remember that,
then we can pull.
Because for weekend, you have to camp in the parking lot for 3 days.
That's what I heard you guys say that. Yeah. So, and
it's true that people end up camping in the parking lot. Wild.
People want the experience. That's
what
it
they do.
is. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, and we're gonna have little cast club member parties, and before we opened, we did like a soft opening with our cast club members, had them come in and get to flavor, and we had some food, and they just all got to eat and drink for free, and not drink for free. We can't give away.
They paid for it.
Not technically.
They sampled.
They sampled. Yeah.
So we just had a little get together with them, just as one of the benefits, especially because for their patience, because it's been so long, and we promised them this stuff a long time, and then they all paid. So we're trying to get that going. That's why most people of the first 24, more people did bourbon than anything else. So we're going to do the biggest group first. So so we've actually got that. It's fully fermented, but we're doing those tastings I was telling you about with the different degrees on that. And so Michael was actually running one of those today that was coming through. He's trying to get it to, it's not a stripping run. It's just basically a flavoring, just to see where those cuts are going to be. So then we can strip it out and then go, okay, then we'll bring everybody in that's doing bourbon and say, here, fill your cask up. And then we'll, put it up on the shelf, and we'll talk about time frames and that kind of stuff. Because our Cask Club members will actually be able to come in and flavor out of it. So 6 months from now, they can come in and say, my cask up there, I want to pull it out. I'm here with my friends. We're going to take a tester and see if it's ready. And we'll pour it out for them, and then they'll be able to go, yep, it's ready. Bottle it up for me. I'm taking it home. Or they can go, nope, I want it to stay longer. It's not quite ready for my taste. Put it back up on the shelf.
Oh, cool.
So they'll be able to sample.
That's cool.
I'm just sitting here realizing that I'm glad I watched all those moonshine shows on Bravo, because I understand everything he's talking about.
Yeah. I barely understand
tails.
everything he's talking about. Yeah, no,
that's no clue.
Yeah, the angels. It's called the angel's breath or the angel's part or whatever.
Yeah,
that's where it evaporates out.
Yeah.
I'm still learning it all. It's really interesting, especially listening to Michael say it. But anyway, so.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He is. He's great.
Yeah, I met him and Liz when I worked at the club. They came in for a weight loss challenge.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you didn't want people to know that, Mike, but yeah, him and Liz came in for the weight loss challenge, and Mike was my client, and then Liz signed up with one of the female trainers, and they both won the weight loss challenge.
Really?
Which is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They can do it. Liz is one of the people that does a lot of our getting things like dressed up in there. It's like for Valentine's Day, I walked in on Valentine's Day and it was like balloons, her and Casey, one of our servers. Yeah. There's balloons everywhere and there's roses hanging from the ceiling. And I was like, man, this looks great in here. Yeah. And I'm like, I just walked into it. I didn't even know, but Liz is brain with that stuff. She put up all our curtains and she did a lot of the design stuff along with Candy Rosenberg, who owns Mailbox Plus. She did a lot of our stuff too. She's donated some of the artwork that she's made too. She's gonna do some more stuff for us too.
I got this funny story about Mike and Liz's kid, Mac. The other guy on our team, Robin Lasky, is Mac's sensei. So like when he did karate when he was a kid, like you know.
I heard that.
And so when I worked at the club, I've done some like MMA training in the past. Okay. And so I would come in and Robin asked me to spar with Mac and this other girl actually, but just spar with them just to kind of so they can get an idea on how this, on how fighting works with especially with a bigger person. And Robin says, we're just not doing any straight punches. We're not doing any of that. We're just going to do, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I for some reason, I'm standing there with Mac and we're about sparring up and I just threw like just a straight jab and I just punched him right in the face.
Oh no.
Not hard. I mean, we were just sparring, but it was just, I like kind of snapped his head back and Mike was in the stands watching and I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry, Mac. Like I just didn't. Whoops. Yeah. So, Mike always gives me a hard time that I kicked his son's ass right in front of him. So
that is something he would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. He ended up doing some more engineering for us because he was working at the engineering firm we were using here in town. Mm-hmm. He ended up getting hired on there, and then he actually helped us with some of the final stuff.
Yeah, he's a great kid.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's a smart kid. So.
Yeah, really great kid.
It was just just the team that kind of came together. So yeah. It was actually pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty pumped because the Young Professionals Network is going to come do one of their
Yes.
quarterly socials there. I think it's on the
Friday,
24th of March, I think.
Yeah, I think it's coming up. I think it's this month. I've got it.
No, because
got
we just did. It might be something else, but
Okay.
we just did something like last week. So
Okay.
I'm pretty
a
certain it's
monthly
next
thing.
month. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Terry and I were talking about that here. Maybe it must be in March, but it's almost March. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're doing. I just came to an agreement with a lady that's like skincare. But she just wants to have her monthly group there, and so they're just going to come on Sundays and like once a month, and she's going to buy them a round of drinks and do her stuff because she just wants that atmosphere for what she's selling. So, yeah, it's kind of cool.
Side note: that's where our next client party is.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say I still haven't been in there yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. So, and one of the owners is a good friend of mine as well, Michael. So we're both
failing.
Yeah, we're both
hard.
failing as friends really bad right now. But
Yeah.
maybe for lunch this week. We'll go.
Yeah.
Well, we don't open until 4. We're 4 to 10.
Yeah, 4
So
to 10.
maybe for
Late
dinner
lunch.
this week.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
usually in bed by 7:30.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and that's when the fun just starts happening. No, yeah, we're Monday through Sunday. We're closed, or it's Tuesday through Sunday. We're closed Mondays. We're closed today. But 4 to 10.
So what are you guys doing for food and stuff? Do you guys have a menu or?
Yeah, so Climate City does all of our food for us.
Okay.
It's great.
Okay.
They take care of all of that. We don't have to deal with any of it, which is one of the things that Terry really wanted to not worry about.
Yeah.
And it was great for Dustin. If you know Dustin and Ashley, they own Vine. Well, Dustin came in as the operating partner with Climate City, and he's kind of brought it back. I mean, it's a great place to go now.
Yeah.
Really smart guy. He's so great to work with. I had a little issue on Saturday night, and I talked to him about it, and like the next day, the problem was solved. And I was like, it was super minor, but he just anytime we need anything, like we give away Spretzels. I don't know if you guys know Spretzel from Rosella's Vineyard. We sell their wine, but also they're friends of mine. And so I was like, let's do something that nobody else does. And they're salty, so people drink more. Let's give away Spretzels. So when anybody comes in, we bring a couple of napkins and a martini glass of Spretzels. And so that part works really, really good. But I lost my train of thought on what
Dustin.
Oh yeah, so working with Dustin has been. I still lost what I was going to say.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
We'll bring back.
but yeah, anyways. Oh, Climate City, the food. That's
The
what we're
food,
talking
right.
about.
Yeah.
So he created a poke menu, and so it's mostly raw fish. Though we do have a couple of like this. We have a spam musubi that people really like.
Nice.
And there's a cooked shrimp one, but it's called the ahikado. It's ahi and avocado dish, and the chefs back there are amazing. They really the way
That's how I get my wife down there.
Yeah.
They got poke bowls.
They got poke
and they're
bowls.
good. People love them. I'm not a poke guy.
Yeah.
I've had the spam musubi, but we sell that ahikado. It's the number one seller. Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
So we have that, and then we also have the appetizers from Climate City too. So we have all that, but they take care of all that stuff. They collect all the money, so
that's
it's great
nice.
for them because they up their sales. So it's been a great partnership because when we get busy, like on Saturday night, which was it was a crazy busy night. We were open at 4. We were full at 4. It was like somebody had a Macy's Day sale. Like everybody just rushed in. It was awesome. We were full and on a waiting list at 4:20. And what's really weird, we don't understand why, but we'll fill up and then we'll have nobody come in until a table empties up. So we rarely have a wait list, but even if we do have a wait list, it's like 1 or 2 people. So it's really weird. We're full for like an hour and nobody comes in, and then a couple tables start, and then people come in and fill them.
Yeah.
It's really great, but it's a really, Terry and I especially have been talking like, why does this happen? We don't know, but it's like, are they waiting outside to see or what? But on Saturday it was I calculated the time because it was so long, from 4:20 till 9:05 I had to wait. But what I do is if somebody comes in, we always welcome them. And then we send them next door to Climate City. If you want to go sit by the fire, have a drink over there, then I'll call you and have you just come back over. And that works great. Sometimes they go, oh no, we just decided to have dinner over here. Okay, great. That's fine. So we're full. So it's not like, and we're helping them out.
Yeah, it works for Dustin too. Yeah.
And they do the same thing. Their staff has been wonderful, and they will just bring people over. They'll just, the people are cashing out, and they'll be like, "What's next door?" So their waitresses, servers will bring somebody over and just to show us, and they're like, "Oh, we'll come back another time. We just got finished dinner over here at Climate, but we'll come try you guys another time."
Yeah.
So they bring, and people come in from the door in the back because their interest is from the back side. Ours is right on G Street, so people will come in and not know exactly how to get over to us. So they'll walk them through, and vice versa. They will come through ours and like, we're like, hey, welcome. They're like, we're just cutting through. I'm like, great, go right over there and see a server. So it works out good. And they've been great to work with. And
it's awesome.
Yeah.
No, we should. The three of us should go.
Yeah.
This week, Thursday or Friday.
We really haven't had a team meeting in a while.
A meeting. Yeah. No, we haven't. Yeah. No, we should.
During the summer, the weekend knows us by name.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's a fun place
just
to
keep
hang
the
out.
tab going.
Yeah.
There have been times where we've been there 3 times in a day. Like
Yeah.
Michael and I will go for coffee, and then we'll have lunch, and then just guess
just
we're going there for dinner. Yeah.
We've had that happen too. People come in for a drink, and then I just had it on Saturdays, come in for a drink, then they go meet their friends somewhere else they already planned for dinner, and then they convince them to come back down, and they
for a
come
little
down.
afternoon, before bed.
They just like, you should see this place we just went, and so then they come back down. We love that.
That's cool.
So yeah, we have a lot of people that come back, or a lot of people that will bring their friends. We just had to bring our friends down here. People from out like from out of state that they're like, oh, if you're gonna come and you need to come here. It's like Hellgate, jet boats. Like you got to come try this place. So it's really big compliments. We love it. But we've got great staff. The food, like I said, is good. We're not a food place. We're a place we want people to come in. We want people to come in before they go out on the town kind of thing. It's kind of like the way Marv started OPA at the beginning. He just wanted that afternoon, off work.
Have a beer and wings.
Have a beer.
The old Steve's Pizza. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean,
used
that
to
was
go
like
there.
that was like the after work place, know. Or
For me, it was after high school.
After high school, after a softball game or whatever it was, that was like the kind of the go-to place.
Yeah, I definitely used to go there. So, so that's kind of what we want, because that's why we close at 10. Is we don't want to be that late night party place. I mean, sometimes it turns into that. We have people come in and have a great time, and they're loud and having a good time. But it's most of the time it's just we play jazz music. It's just a mellow, cool vibe is what we're typically going for. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You've talked about like wanting to distribute and things like that. I mean, what else do you guys have planned for the future?
So that is our long term. I mean, our long term is to get bottles everywhere, and then sell it off to Jack Danieley or something, and we all retire with millions of dollars.
The Deschutes dream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, who knows if that'll happen, but if we don't think that way, we won't. So that is our long term, is to get it out. So we're going to start just here, because there's the rules with the OLCC is that within 50 miles of your distillery, you can actually personally distribute to the liquor stores. But if we want to deliver, if somebody in Roseburg wanted it, we have to send it to Portland. So we have to get it to Portland. That we thought before, our understanding before was if like Climate City, which we share a wall with, if they wanted our stuff, we had to take it to Portland. Then Portland sends it down to grantspass liquor stores, and the liquor store sends it over to them. And that is true, except for within 50 miles of where we make it. So we can basically go up to Ashland. So we're going to start off doing that. We're going to first, we've got so many restaurateurs that said they want it here locally, that we'll just do it here in town, just start going. And then it's really just going to be how much we can get put out, because we only have so much space. So we're going to distribute locally here first, and then we've got some people in Medford that have also said that they'll take it, and then we will start doing some of where we go out to the restaurants and introduce
do a
it
tasting.
To them.
Yeah,
do tastings. We'll go to the liquor stores, do tastings there, and start off, and then we'll start doing it all over the state. I mean, that's the long-term goal, and then go bigger if we can.
Yeah.
So, because I have a friend who owns 2 liquor stores in Eugene or Springfield. I always forget which one. But he said our gin, which I did bring that too. He said, I'll sell this gin all day long, and so we'll get it up there to him. And you ready?
Yeah, sure.
So then we'll just start marketing it there, and then we really do want to go. He said you need to get it out of the state, get it out, but it's distribution, and you have to get distributors, and it's tough to get
margins.
The margins are tough, and also the big dogs give like vacations to the salespeople, and things like that, and we don't have that. So maybe at that point we will. I'm not sure, but it's a little bit more difficult. It's more. I mean, then they distribute it for you. So if they do push it, then you don't have to do any work. Where here, we still have to do the work. So that's one thing that the state of Oregon does do is that if somebody in Astoria wants it, we don't have to get it there. We give it to them, and they ship it off. So that's the positive side. That's one reason why they charge what they do, is they have that expense of sending it all over. If somebody in Baker City wants it, we don't have to take it there. We don't have to ship it there. They send it on their trucks that make their deliveries. So that part's
I
going to
think a 50-mile radius will keep you pretty busy for a while.
It will, yeah. And we anticipate that it will for the first few years. We think it probably will. So, yeah.
So this gin, no label on it, just fresh out of the. Oh,
yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Danny, that might be needing me in
Yeah. No, I literally.
Michael, you did not hear that.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We're not doing anything illegal because I'm allowed to give tastings, but yeah. So this is
smells beautiful.
Yeah, it's got that citrusy. It's got the juniper. It's got the citrusy flavor to it. It is our Mediterranean versus the dry that we will make. That is more a gin drinker's gin. You said you drink it, so it it might not be what you would consider a gin.
It's delicious. It's
really
different. I don't. Gin doesn't come to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a little bit.
You can get the juniper.
I get the juniper and a little bit up front on the tongue.
Right. Yes.
It's got very complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like the vodka was.
Yeah.
Very complex.
Michael's genius again. It is. It's and people. We go through it so fast. We have a couple of drinks that have it in it, and people reorder those. Like our habanero drinks, people love them, but they're like, I'll take something else after it's too hot.
Yeah.
But
this
the
is
gin,
delicious.
people.
This is my jam for sure.
Yeah. For a gin, for me too. I can drink that no problem. So. Yeah, where a regular gin, I'm like, it's just not my flavor.
No, I'll drink G&Ts all day long.
Yeah.
I think they're great.
And see, we make our own tonic ourselves. We make our own
tonic. Oh, really?
We make our own sweet and sour. We make our simple syrup,
cool.
but that's obviously just sugar. But yeah, everything we do, we make ourselves. And one of the things I should touch on is the ingredients that we have for our flavored vodkas. They're all, as much as we can, they're all local. Mm-hmm. So our lavender's from the lavender farms out in the Applegate.
Right on.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So yeah, the strawberries. One of our servers actually dehydrates stuff and fruits and vegetables. Well, at least fruits. And she sells them at the growers market, and she also brings them in for us. And we use those to extract those flavors out.
That's cool.
Make our flavored vodkas. So yeah, and she gets all that stuff local too. So it's one of those things where it's all just trickles around and trying.
There's so much here. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So we've got so many different flavors, and most of them are from here. Like the vanilla, we have a great vanilla vodka, but we can't get that from here. So it has to be shipped in from, I think it's from Madagascar, I think. Yeah. But for the most part, it's all done here. Whatever we can get here, we do. So
yeah, that's cool. It's pretty evident in your interview form too that you believe in giving back. Can you talk about the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh man. Did I say it in there?
Yeah.
You did. You talked about the 33 rule.
Give. Oh yeah, the rule of 33, which most people I've talked to don't really have heard about it. I've had a few people that I've mentioned it to, because I've done the classes, like the careers classes. Heather Ransom's a friend of mine, Marv Ransom's wife. She's a teacher and she does the career class at South Middle School, and so she has me come in along with other people in town and do that. And one of the things I do talk to the kids about is that rule of 33. Also, like the rule of just grit, just hard work is good. Right. It's a simple formula there, but the rule of 33 is that you should focus on three different areas of the people that you come in contact with. The top 33 are the people that you aspire to be like. So when I used to hang out with Travis more often, I would just be like, I want to glean because you're where I'd like to be. And that was like 10 years ago, where he was just everything he said had something of value to say on it.
It was like having conversations with Dane.
Yeah,
it was the same way.
Yeah, just the knowledge that they would have. And so I would try to get as many of those people that I don't know a lot about. Same thing with Michael Blair. I don't know much about that. So I want to be around somebody like that knows something that I don't. And so that helps you get it. Like he's big into the crypto stuff, and he's making a lot of money doing that. And so I'm like, last night we were working, and I'm like, what are you working on now? Which one? He's like, I'm working on this one. I'm like, send me that link, so I can try and mess around with it. So, he can do much more than I can, but that is that rule of what are the people that are doing that you want to aspire to. Mm-hmm. And then there's the middle 33%, where those are the people that are your friends. Those are the people that are on your equal level, that you relate to, that you hang out with, that are the ones that, if you want to go on a vacation, they're the people that can afford to go with you, that you're interested in going with, that kind of stuff. And then the 33 below is the people that you give back to, that you're trying to pull up to where you're at because that's where they want. One of my kids' friends called me, and he's literally 19, and him and his buddy called me on how to get into rentals, and I'm like, okay, where are you at? And he's like, well, I'm going to be starting a job at Home Depot pretty soon. Okay, I'm like, well, we need to get you there first.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, your thinking is exactly where you need to be.
100%.
You're calling me, and you're thinking about how to do this. And so, do you have any money saved up? Well, yeah, I do. Okay, he has like him and his partner each.
I got $25.
No, they each had like 10 grand. He's not even working, but they each only had like $10,000.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's usually one of the biggest hurdles because you're going to need 5% down, and you're going to have to live in it. You're not going to be able to buy a rental first because you're going to need 20% down for that. So let's focus on you buying a place, and then you can make that a rental later. But let's focus on getting you into a place. I said, so how's your credit? He's like, well, I did run it. I did go and get my credit run. I'm like, okay, you're thinking right too, because you need to start knowing what that is. And I'm like, if you have no credit, because he had no credit, I'm like, then you're going to need to get a secured credit card. He's like, yeah, I already worked on that, but they wouldn't give me one without a job. I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna. So go get that job. So I said, just gave him I spent like half an hour, 45 minutes on the phone with him to try and get him here's your steps, and let's talk again in 6 months. If you have questions before that, call me. But we'll work on. You'll have the job. You'll probably have your secured credit card by then, and then we can start talking about what the next thing is. And as I can get you in contact with a realtor, I can get you in contact with a loan officer.
With 2 realtors, actually.
Yeah.
A couple loan officers too.
Yeah. But I said, I'm not going to give you their numbers because he said, can I have their numbers? I'm like, no, I'm not giving it to you yet. I'm not going to let you waste their time.
Well, I mean, that's what you did too, is build credit. I mean, that was.
So I can help them with that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that was an example of me helping out one of my kids' friends. They knew to ask me. I'm like, you're already ahead of the game. I said, I wasn't thinking your way at 19 years old.
No.
And so you just thinking
I was
way,
saving up money for a concert.
Yeah, exactly. And it was awesome. I mean, it was great to be able to reinforce him. I said, you're going to come into plenty of roadblocks of things that's going to tell you this isn't going to work. Don't stop. Call me, call somebody else, and just keep moving forward, and you'll get there. You'll be way better positioned than I am right now.
Yeah.
So at my age.
And I think, difference, when we were 19, it was a long time ago.
Real long time.
Yeah. The podcasts, the YouTube videos, there's so much information out there for kids to like get inspired and walk them through it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. Well, a bunch of the kids were, because I have, between my girlfriend and I, we have 14 years, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I guess not 20, anyway, 4 young kids. And them and their friends will just be over at the house and just talking. They're talking about like stocks and stuff like that. And we're like, talking about stocks over there, talking about doing penny stocks and just
crypto and NFTs, man.
Yeah, they're talking about doing that kind of stuff now, and I'm just trying to wrap my brain around this NFT thing. But I'm
you and me both, brother.
Yeah, I'm just like anyway. But whatever, if somebody will buy it, great. So anyway, but yeah, we're just like listen to what they're talking about. I mean, they're probably not going to go anywhere with it, but they're thinking this way, which. I was not thinking that way at 19, and I was already thinking business wise at 19. So I was ahead of other kids, and these guys are already thinking that way. So, and maybe it's part of the environment they're growing up in with me being there and talking about that stuff, and they see me but whatever it is, they're thinking that way, and it's really cool. It's really neat
100%.
thing. Yeah,
that's rad.
Yeah,
there is so much information out there for kids these days.
Yeah,
good and bad, but.
Yeah, it's and everybody's getting smarter. I was listening to, I don't know if you guys know Jordan Peterson, and he's and I listen to him because he's just so smart. I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of intelligence there. And he was saying that it's been documented that our civilization or whatever is gaining 7 points of IQ points per generation now.
Are you sure?
That I know. I'm not sure. That's why I said I don't believe everything he says. But he said it's being documented that it is, and that's basically you typically get 7 points of IQ points from going from high school through college. Mm-hmm. So, but it's just there's so much information coming in. Yes, not all of it correct, but they know so much more now than we did. That people just know more. They're just smarter people than they used to be. Yeah. For sure, there's way more misinformation too. I mean, internet was supposed to save us.
Yeah, give my 4-year-old an iPad. I mean, it's like
yeah.
Like, how did you get there?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's weird what the brain can do if given that challenge. So it's interesting.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
I apologize again for not being in to the distillery.
Yeah, we'll get in there.
Yeah, you can solve that. If you come in Thursday or Friday, I'll be there. So,
right on. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Friday's usually our meeting.
Our team lunch day,
Team,
Okay.
Sure, that's what you want to call it, team
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah.
No, we just got to get with Robin, but
Yeah.
Shannon's going out of town on Thursday, so
Ooh,
I think we should.
Yeah.
there you go.
Come in early.
Okay.
I'll get you in, that's for sure. I mean, again, like I said, the wait list, even if we do have it, it's usually pretty short. But Friday was super busy too, but I don't think I even had a wait list all night. It just had that weird,
Yeah.
it's great.
You got a big closing on Friday too, don't you?
Yeah. Good time to celebrate.
Hell
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Send it. All right.
You can buy all the things.
You know, one of the questions we do ask everybody is what are some businesses locally that do inspire you?
Yeah, Weekend would be one of them. I mean, they've got it dialed in, and you know that they're good people. They're good partners. Because we've 3 partners could be difficult. It's not. This has been amazing. I've been in more than one partnership, and this is the best ever. But seeing them with their 2 families and working together on things like that, we do kind of aspire to be like that. After listening to the podcast with Manny, I'm like, that guy kind of inspires me too.
Right.
And I have not even been in there yet. We meant to go
Yeah.
in last Wednesday and we didn't get a chance to, but
You can really grab inspiration from whoever.
yeah,
you know?
I mean, there's so many good businesses in town. It really has been pretty amazing. And like Kelsey was saying, so many things popping up just right outside of COVID stuff. All these restaurants were closing and things like that. And we didn't have that too bad in our community, but a lot of places did.
Yeah.
But we were working all through it. I mean, we were supposed to be next to the Horny Goat, and we were working on trying to make that happen. And now we're kind of glad that it didn't with how well it's gone with Climate City. But Horny Goat, another one. I mean, they expanded. Their location is beautiful with that roll up.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I love that place too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Kelsey also talked about grabbing inspiration from people who do bad business as well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, which is I really identify with that statement a lot, because I look at how bad people do stuff and I'm like, okay, that's something I don't want to do, or I could do that better. Or,
yeah,
and I think that's a
yeah. I guess I do too. I'm more on the property management side of my world, because I've bought out a few smaller property managers, and then I get all their information. I'm like, are you kidding me? You were doing that?
Yeah.
You were doing that to owners? Like, you were charging them this for that? I'm like. So my owners are like, "You're not going to charge me for that?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to charge." Like they would upcharge on repair bills, and they would collect some money on the repair bills. I'm like, "What? No, whatever it costs you is what it costs you. I'm not making money off of that." So things like that. So I'm like, that's kind of bad business, and it's worked out good for me, because when I'll take over these other property management companies, everybody stays with me because it's such a change, and it's been great for that aspect of it. So yeah, that point is true, because I've experienced that too on the positive side. So. Yeah.
Are you taking on new property management business?
Yeah, I usually it's just like 1 or 2 at a time, but it sometimes jumps. Dharmesh Patel, who owns a Super 8 motel up here, he just bought 11 new units, and he came to me again, small town stuff. I'm good friends with his cousin, who used to own Bunny's Motel. Went to high school with Anant Patel, and Anant owns hotels and a bunch of the sub shops in Lake Charles, Louisiana now, but we still stay in touch. And his cousin, and so I'm like, so that I had that rapport, just the small town thing. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, that sounds great. I'll give you my 11 units. So I just started managing those. It's been about 3 months now. Yeah. But no, I have 3 or 4 new ones coming on. Probably March 1st. I got one yesterday, and then I'm meeting with a new owner. Gosh, Monday or Tuesday.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's usually one house at a time, and that's great. So it's just slowly growing over the years. So it's been great, which is good. I had one guy say, I have 40 units, and I'm like, I can't take them right now. He's like, I'm getting old. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I'm like, why don't you have me do a couple, and you can see how I work and see if you like it, and then if you do, then we can talk about, give me some time to be able to onboard them. Yeah, maybe get some help and because I'm already thinking about getting an assistant to maybe do some of the smaller stuff, but 1 or 2 I can do pretty easily. So I do that fairly often.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
Yeah, man, this has been rad. I really appreciate the vodka.
I guess where can people find Steam? Instagram, Facebook. Do you guys got all the usuals?
Yeah, all the usuals. Yeah, mostly because we want to build a pretty cool website, so we haven't done that yet, just because it just went we were so busy on everything else, we just didn't get to that part. But we're pretty heavy on Facebook, and that does trickle into Instagram. Yeah, so those are where most of our advertising comes from. But things like this, we've been on the radio a little bit. Terry's done some interview stuff with KLDR and those kind of things too. So, but yeah, Facebook's a great place to get it. Instagram, it all bleeds over into that, and just a lot of people's friends just share it. That's where a lot of it is. Or at 505 Southwest G Street. That's where we're at.
Yeah, stop on down.
Yeah,
like me and like Michael and I.
yeah.
Well, at least this week you had food. Last week with Kelsey, he was on a juice cleanse.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. No, I was like looking at that thing like, oh man, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Seriously, I finished that first glass and I was like, my face is already started feeling red, and like I was just like, oh man, this is not good. So anyway, thanks for being here, Scott.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Hometown Hustle Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. And for more information or to connect with Daniel and Michael, check out www.hometownhustlepodcast.com. We'll see you next time.